Hello everyone, welcome to my Banter Blitz match. Let's see, I've tried playing a move. Let's see if he's there. Against JT, Jesper Thybo. Denmark's one of the most promising juniors. Already a strong GM. It's going to be a tough first match. Let's see if he turns up. Let's see, he's trying to find the right place to click. If I've clicked on the right place. I'm pretty sure I did. I can try again. Go abort that one. Take 2. Let's try again. Opponent disconnected. I clicked on the first link. Yeah. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to my match against JT, Jesper Thybo. We had some slight issues there, but hopefully we're off the ground now. And yeah, welcome to another Banter Blitz. Now let's see what I can remember. Play check on this one. Yeah, so it's a slightly different. Now, where am I supposed to put the screen? I can never remember. I can go back either way. Yeah, slightly different format to last year. Fewer players. Already it was tough enough for me in the first round last year. Now what am I supposed to do here? Is there any C5? Maybe. Let's just attack this weak pawn on C6. Yeah, so fewer players, and I only squeezed past 8.5, 7.5 in the first round last year. And a shorter match. Last year it was so first to 8 or first to 8.5, and this time it's just first to 4.5. But we have increment this time with 2 seconds a move, which should mean that it's not going to come down to just flagging at the end with some rook v rook or something. 2 seconds a move isn't really enough to think, but it should be enough to at least play some moves on the board. But I'll try not to get too low on time. It's just going to be a tough match, this one. Unless his chess 24 rating is a touch higher than mine. And I know he's always very well prepared. So surviving the opening is going to be key to me in the match, I think. Survive the opening, not fall for any cheapos, and then see what happens. Talking about surviving the opening, I can't resist pawn sacks. I don't know if it's a good move. But you don't win games by going backwards, right? Sack the pawn so I can defend my knight. Hopefully gain some tempi back on his queen. So he wants these off. I prefer them to stay on the board. So attack this pawn on c6 again. If he goes knight d5, can I take it? He takes with the e pawn. Do I have any funny business? Because he's working out too. I don't want these queens off. Let's see. I'm not going to repeat it again if I can help it. Not going to be a very exciting start. I'll repeat this one again. Can I go to a different square now? Go to d3. He goes. On this, I can play knight c3, but then he might just get enough time to complete his development, which I don't really want. Go queen d3. Knight d. Let's try queen d3. Objectively, I probably should be taking the draw in the opening, but that's no fun. There is a bit of a problem with knight d5 now, though, that my intended rook c1 allows knight takes f4 and everything's hanging. So knight d5, I have to play something else. Play rook d1 with some sneaky mate trick on d8. He'll go bishop e7. Do I have a good follow-up? Let's just develop. Give him a choice. He can take either piece and damage my structure either way, but my position is all about the initiative here. If I lose the initiative, then he's just a point up or more. Now, can I be clever with rook c1? You can go queen d4 to exchange queens. But if that's the worst that happens, then I don't mind too much. At least I have a good pressure on the pawn on c6. You can win a second pawn, but it's quite risky. I'm a long way ahead in development. So he's gone for this queen exchange. Now, where do I want my rooks? Not sure. Now, if he just plays a developing move, do I want to take on b8 and take the pawn back on c6? Let's wait for him to castle first. As it's an endgame, the king should be in the center of the board, in theory. And maybe it's not so easy for him to improve anyway. Now, do I want the knight versus bishop, or do I want to try knight back? If I go b4, I'm giving him some b4, a5, a3, some counterplay. This next move is going to be a5, probably, and try and get in some space. Going a bit short on time. Okay, let's be very safe. Win back my pawn, and I can never be worse, at least. Not lose on time. Unless I have a bad habit in blitz, getting too interested in my position. If my position is bad, I can play quickly and not worry about it becoming worse. But when it's a good position, or at least an interesting position, I spend far too much time trying to figure out what the best move is. And when you only have 3 minutes to start the game, that's a luxury you can't survive. Okay, so my plan now is just to win the pawn a6. I'll say that his dark square bishop can't attack it. Like, it looks like a good bishop, but I'm hoping it doesn't really have targets. Let's go after this pawn. Don't want the rooks off. Probably I want one pair of rooks on the board, so we'll exchange the d1. I probably want rook and knight versus rook and bishop in this endgame. My rooks are on an open file, and he doesn't. File isn't really an open file for him. So he's going to try some. Okay, let's just get my king active. And which pawn? Okay, my b pawn. The problem here is he's now. I've got to watch out for some bishop b2s. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. He has an open file. But hoping that his b5 pawn is still a bit of a weakness. I don't want to change structure here. I played it, but I'm not sure now if it was a good move. I'm hoping to hit this weakness on h5 too. Maybe it was not quite right. It's activating his rook now, which is a pain. I don't think I'm better anymore. I have to be a bit careful. And where's that rook going now? He's activated it to get it trapped. Whew. So, not sure about that, but at least I don't think I really had losing chances in my. Oh, hopefully that link has worked. I got clicked on the right one. Game number 2. Is he going to be there? Let's see. Change my board color again to brown. I don't know if you can see it. Wait. It's a slight, just clicking on a new link each time so that you guys get to see it again. Yeah. Our link is the one that ends with an E. I think it's the right one. So I'm 1-0 up after that one. The game went as well as I could hope. Our technique wasn't fantastic, but it got a bit messy at the end with no time and having an extra 10 seconds or something paid off. I hope we'll get game number 2 shortly. And yeah, it's going to be tough with black probably to survive the opening. I can't just play some non-theory and accept a more or less level position. Quite technical problem I had for game 1 as well. But, yeah. It's a link that finishes B547E. Yeah. Let's see. If I manage to get past this one, I'll keep playing the Scandinavians in all probability with good friend Niels also in this bracket. I'm playing the Pride of Denmark. He lives in Copenhagen as well. Yeah, I'm hoping this 2 seconds helps me compared to last year, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll be resuming again shortly. Does Jesper have the same list of games as me? Sorry about the delay, everyone. Hi again, everyone. Sorry for that. Hopefully we can now play again. Not quite sure what. Some teething issue with the new software, maybe. But play some moves. Classical King's Indian. Let's try this. I was watching the Jesper video by Vichka. Not sure how to pronounce his name. And he suggested this. I've never actually played it, so I probably won't remember any theory, but it looked reasonable. I normally play the classical stuff with knight c6 or my pet variation with knight bd7, an older line. And I'm intending on covering both in the video I do for Jesper. Of course, I thought for this, especially as Jesper is generally very well prepared, could try and catch him off with this. Lots of possible moves here. I think black is trying to play d5 at some point, and if I get to exchange his bind with the E and C pawns, my C and D, what am I supposed to do against that immediately? Generally, you can stack that pawn, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, if I get to exchange the E and C for the C and D, then I should be better with my better bishop. And his pawn doesn't really want to go on f3. He'd much prefer to be back on f2. Some weak dark squares. He has to be a bit careful about his queen being trapped here. So that's why I didn't go to d4, because the bishop f8. So shall I don't know if I have a proper threat here yet. Maybe knight into e5 or c5 and then try and trap the queen. So he's run away. I probably want a3 at some point. Combine a3 and knight h5. And see what happens. This, okay, let's just play through. I'm in danger of the problem I was talking about earlier, of enjoying my position and therefore spending far too much time trying to figure out how I'm supposed to play it. So he's snaffled a pawn, but at least I no longer have that pawn as a weakness. I have some open lines, which should be enough in blitz. So he's trying to take an a3. Now if I go knight h5, g4, I can Zwischenzug intermezzo, take on b2, and the f4 square is going to be very good for my knight. Okay, he's getting ready for me to take. Do I have to take yet? I have to attack this pawn on c4 instead. Probably f5 is on the cards sometimes, although with an open position, I have to be very careful. My king isn't going to be entirely secure. So I take on c4. What's going on? Take on b2 looks too scary. I take on c4, he goes knight d5. And then my queen's attacked. I'd like to be able to get 2 pieces for it. I could just retreat. I take on b2, knight d5 looks unpleasant. Okay, let's take and see what happens. So knight d5, queen a4, or queen back to d6, or some fantastic queen sack. Unfortunately, anyone who knows me will know that the queen sack is what I'm looking for. But I don't see how. If queen a4, he takes on c4. I'm probably not recapturing anyway. Let's just retreat. So we exchange these knights. He remains the And then I'll take on b2 and material is level. And the question is whether my pawn on b2 or his bishop on d5 are more relevant parts of the position. I has this as well. Again, I shouldn't be attacking my queen. This was a good move to start with, though. Now, queen e5, bishop c3 is annoying. So you can win the exchange if you want. I think. Knight e7, then I'll take it. He takes. And then I'm not sure. Do I go knight takes b2 or knight into e3? Vague threats. Should I go for vague threats? Or was my knight going to get trapped? I'll just say I'm too worried that my knight was getting trapped. I didn't see where it was jumping from e3. It looks like a nice square, but he's controlling most of the squares around it. Now I'm dreaming of some fantastic knight g3 check when he has to take with a pawn and mating on the h file. But not very realistic. Instead, probably what I should be doing is trying to win with my a pawn. Okay, queen d8 is a big threat, so with my bishop. Nope, he's going for it. I don't want to create a passed pawn. Take a2. Let's kick his bishop first. Very random position. But probably I'm say he's going back to the exchange. Do I have to take immediately? Probably. Taking b3 doesn't quite work. So I can choose. Okay, I take. And my rook. Hope that I'm not getting mated over on the king side. I don't think I should be because his back rank is a bit precarious as well. Rook a1 is tricky, but I have taken b3. Now I don't want to go after his knight. And he might drop back. I think I want those pieces off the board there. Otherwise the knight's going into c5 and my bishop didn't seem to have a lot of future. Okay, random position again, let's take. Material is now level, but I'm hoping my two knight passed pawns more relevant than his bunch. Probably I want the queen and pawn ending. Centralized. So if you can't open up my king quickly, this should be winning for me. I just get my pawns rolling. I'm not sure what that's doing. Keep going. Okay. Don't want him to have a check. Okay. In doubt, just keep pushing. So he wants to play queen f6 check. Let's hope it's only one check. Not sure why I went that way really, but I don't think it changed anything. Okay. His king shouldn't be able to hide here. Okay, so the opening worked well. It's one of those. Now let's see. Will it work this time? Let's pray. But he can also see the board. Just change color for me. Back into league mode. And English worked well last time. See there? Yes. Excellent. We get a game. And he switched to a solid Slav thing. Okay. I'll just do the same thing. Develop my pieces. Grabbed. Now what line shall I play? Let's just ignore it. I don't remember my theory here. Probably quite a good choice by him, because I think white is supposed to play quite dynamically to justify the pawn sack. And I don't remember how I'm supposed to do it. So I'll just keep attacking the pawn and see. Here's queen d5, and then I supposed to have a good move. But yeah, this e takes d4 line I think is quite a reasonable suggestion. I wouldn't want to have it as my only King's Indian line, because if your opponent has prepared for it, you're going to reach some sort of, it's like a Maroxy-Bine dragon, so I feel somewhat familiar, but with what black having traded the e-pawn rather than the c-pawn. Okay, e1 with the knight. So I'm getting ready for d3 or h4. This is some sort of theory I really should know. Let's go to h4. And clearly knight e1 helped d3 because I want it with the knight. And knight h4 stopped him defending the pawn. Okay, let's, if I off the exchange, we're going queen e4 now. Oh, okay, I'm 2-0 up. Let's a draw isn't the end of the world. Okay. Sorry guys, that wasn't very exciting, but I couldn't remember what I was supposed to do. So for that, I'm quite happy. I think objectively I was close to just being a pawn down. And black went quite well last game, so we can repeat that line. A bit of time to think about the line. So yeah, I think my threat immediately is d5 when black is a bit better. So white should play something to deal with it, or maybe not really a bit better, but if you're playing this line as black, you have to pretend you're a bit better then. So this one. No, I don't remember what I'm supposed to do. Was it 96? Or was that against knight b3? Probably was against knight b3. Oh, so I know this position with bishop on e3. They have some tactics with d5 and then knight b4 because the bishop is hanging. But without it, I don't know. Let's pretend to threaten d5. Okay. Let's see. My knight isn't ideal on a6 here, of course. I prefer it develop towards the center. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked by looking at exchange stacks. Let's just undevelop. My whole strategy is based on this exchanging the center and playing with my Jesper bishop. This weak square on e3. Am I losing the exchange now? If I take on e4, he takes on d8. I recapture. He can then take either way winning the exchange. Okay, that's. I don't know if this move is actually defending the pawn. I think it probably is. But losing a piece. Yeah, that was the kind of blunder I'm trying to avoid. That was not my finest hour. Do I have any way now of continuing after my blunder? I guess I'll let bishop off at least. Now if I attack the knight, the problem is taking on f6 hits my bishop as well. So it looks like I'm just a piece down. I'll attempt to struggle on if I find a single playable move. But that was a very bad blunder. Annoying when the match was going well for me as well, to give a point back so easily. Yeah, it was a move I should have been aware of. Oh well, let's just play moves quickly and just make him actually win this game. Nothing to lose for me now. I'm going to try going h5, h4, h3 and scaring him. Obviously it shouldn't work, I'm just a piece down, but you never know. This position is so bad that there's no need to think. You accept that you're completely lost and just play some moves. What am I dreaming of? It's very tough when his knights are so good to find any cheapos whatsoever. Okay. Dream of some bishop takes h3, queen g3, and perpetual. That stops any of those ideas. That knight's too strong. And in fact, I probably should play the endgame here. My king is closest to the center, nominally. And I have a pass pawn. Unfortunately, he has a knight, but you can't have everything. Yeah, he's going to be too fast here. I'm losing my extra pawn, I think. Retreating is quite sad, but I'm going to keep an eye on everything. It's not great that my king was the one having to spend that pawn either. Playing this tactically. Of course, everything is winning for him. But it's a bit strange to start exchanging pawns. Base is going to come and pick off my pawn on a6. Run, king, run. Okay. So anyways, okay, let's just continue running. Run and pray. Unfortunately, his rook can just drop out to a2, so I don't even have a g2 pawn. Okay, check. That's a Caesar check. I have to play it. Okay, I have to stop rook a2 as well. Now I'm going to create a race. Unfortunately, it's a race that I'm rather a long way behind him. But still. Get a pass pawn. Giving away quite a lot of pawns in the process. If this endgame hadn't been quite so much material down at the start, then I could have fought. Nowhere obviously on board is going to be safe for my king, which is the least unsafe. We've made it everywhere, aren't I? So I try this. Check. Nice if I had some stalemate trick, but I doubt that's going to happen. No, they see a knight and pawn up, but he goes first, which is unfortunate. I have to keep watching out for skewers along long diagonal as well. Rook a2 check, picks up my queen. Is there any fantastic stalemates here? Not if I go up the board. Don't think there are. The king on g3 against. There's no way I can control the g4 square. Yeah, okay. I'll give up that one. 2.5, 1.5. So we're on to game number 5. Make sure I click the right link. And switch to 1 knight f3 for this one. What line shall I play? It's a bit annoying here. It's hard to avoid a theoretical duel. Let's try d6. So go straight into ending. Less likely to blunder pieces. Although probably I'm capable of it. Now, do I develop my bishop first? This looks extremely wet as an opening, and of course it is. But white is hoping, at least the claim is that the one on c3 is better than one on c5 because I have an outpost on d5. Do I want to take on c6? Probably not really. I would if I had someone good for my king. So yeah, it looks a bit like I'm playing as black. So I'm more passive. Let's watch out for some tricks here. Castle queen side, rook d1, bishop f5, check. I can't block with a bishop because it's check on d2. Okay, he's decided that was a proper threat. He's turned to the knight. So now I want to go knight e4, hit the pawn, throw knight d6. I have a knight d4 check. I realize after moving. I go back to b1. What's happening? He takes on e2. The knight is trapped. I'll leave it up to him to decide. If I take the pawn on b7, I've got to be very careful of knight takes c3s. So I think my idea is he'll take on e. If he takes on e2, I'll go rook e1. So he's retreated. And do I jump in with knight e4? How annoying is bishop f5? Okay, let's just start with a4. Get this rook on a1 into the game. Yeah, it looks very odd, my position. But maybe he should go knight a5 now, yeah. I'm going away quite a few squares. Okay, at least I'll get bored. There's no knight d4 check anymore. But I do need a plan. I'll have these knights off the board. If I could. Or the light square bishops off the board. But neither is very easy to achieve, as far as I can see. Play slowly. I mean, the whole game has been slow. c4 is not a move I want to play. How's knight c4? Accepting I'm not ever going to be better, but maybe it's a pragmatic move. So if he takes with the knight, recapture, and b6 or something is very solid. So then my structure shouldn't actually be any worse than his because I have some A5 and some open files. He's grabbed. That's something I can also grab. Rook B8 after bishop D5 check, which is important, so I don't lose material. If he takes on E2, I've got rook D2. Okay, his bishop is too strong. Let's get rid of it. Now, who is better and why? I can claim to have the slightly better bishop, but I have to watch out for him getting in, so let's get rid of these rooks. My rook on D5 is quite good, so we'll defend it. It's a bit of a shame because I'd have liked that square for my king. Okay, I have to be careful not to lose material. I'm hoping everything is holding up, but after this exchange I can never hope to be better, realistically. Still, I shouldn't be worse either. Maybe I can hope to be a touch better. He's got the outside pass pawn. I guess just equal. My rook is slightly more active. It's slightly easier to attack his pawns. This move is probably just making a draw. So if I rook G8, take on E2, take. A bit of Pac-Man. If he goes G6, I'm probably just defending winning. I quite like my rook here, stopping any. Is King E4 asking for trouble? He goes G6, threatening to mate me. I go G4. I'll just retreat. The problem is if I go forward, he goes for A2, and I don't actually have anything better. So. I can't offer a draw when it's his move. So I can't claim a draw. Not quite sure what's happening now. Is he going to think for most of the time and then? The clock is still ticking on my screen. Okay. Okay. So apparently that he claimed the draw, and so it's 3-2 to me, and we're on to game number 6. Despite my lead, my last 3 games haven't been very impressive. Let's change the board again. I clicked on the right link. Game number 6. I don't have a move yet. But yeah, my openings haven't been very good in the last couple. I don't know. Maybe I could go for a theory game with E4. But trying not to blunder pieces is the key thing. I could play B takes, but I could try and limp over the line. I still have my lead, but he's been the one dictating play for a while. We're off again. But shall I repeat that line? Yeah, let's try again. I didn't think this line was supposed to be so critical. He played, but obviously blundering piece wasn't great. What am I supposed to do? I don't remember. 96 seemed okay. Okay, so when he goes bishop G5, I'm going to go H6. I'm not going to allow any of that. Any of that losing pieces. Silliness. So I can move my queen as well. So I'm going to lose a pawn, but I think that's quite typical for these lines. And to be fair, I don't think I'm playing the recommendation of the chessable course, but he does say to play h6 whenever bishop g5 happens. I disobeyed one of his rules and I got punished for it. So here, I don't know if objects them just a pawn down, but I'm hoping that my play against that pawn is relatively straightforward. Let's keep my bishop pair for now. Fine, if he goes bishop b5, then I will exchange and take on b2. It's not a repetition this time. So yeah, I think I just have to accept that he's a pawn up, but hope he can't do very much with it for now. And in the meantime, I've got an uncontested Datsquip bishop, and maybe his king is a bit, at least if he could play f3 back to f2, then I'd have no compensation. But as it is, I can pretend something. So is that not going to c4? Now I go b5, b4 maybe? I want to move my queen. Let's jump in. I don't like knight e4, I was coming with tempo. If he drops back, I'll go to b6. Seems a slightly safer square. So these queens are coming off. I don't think I mind that. Okay, I'm pawn down, but with a very ugly structure with the double A pawns. That gives me play on the B file, and my bishop pair should be quite useful. If I was playing Vichy with his love of knights, I would be very scared, but against a mere strong GM at Blitz, it should not be the end of the world. More exchange, the less easy it'll be for me to plunder pieces, is my theory. After all, I'm the grizzled veteran in this group. Everyone knows as you get older, you blunder more often. Now, I can win back the pawn, but I don't think I want to. Let's just retreat. The problem is if I win back the pawn, then he's got a very straightforward plan, just pushing the d pawn. If I don't take the pawn, he has to think about whether to defend it or not. It seems strange to keep him with the extra pawn, just to give him the extra option. But in Blitz, it's also useful to give your opponent as many options as possible. Now, if I can win the d5 pawn, even at the cost of exchanging one of my bishops, then I'll be happy. Now, g4 craziness, I think I can take on d5. Knight f4, I take on e4. He's gone g4. He keeps a good knight. I also take on e4, but then this pawn is quite strong. So let's take this. Guess I'll take on f5. I take on d3, he takes on g6. And I probably recapture f5, knight c5. Doesn't look like it is doing anything. Take on b2 with the rook would be tempting, but my back rank is not ideal. Now, my main issue is I've got a few vulnerable ranks, so let's cover my 7th first. If he goes knight c5, then I'll go to the 2nd rank myself. Probably a good question. So you've got, is his knight better than my bishop? Not at all clear. Looking at the back rank itself is not so important. My bishop stops any mates. But I have weak pawn on g6 and a6, so I needed to cover the 6. So he wants to come to the 6 himself. So let's just get one of my pawns off it. Let's go to the 7th instead. Now I have to exchange rooks somewhere. If I take, rook a6 is a bit sad, but maybe it's not. And knight c5, and he winkles me out. Probably dropping the pawn. So let's keep the 7th instead. So is knight d6 a threat? If I go a4, knight d6, ab, ab, yes. This knight is very strong. Okay, rook f5. My position is teetering here. I have a lot of weaknesses, and my king is blocked out. Okay, do I start with the check, or do I start with bishop e5? Check, he goes king g3, but let's not play the check yet. Let's hope that he allows a fork with bishop e5 later. Do I swap those pawns as well? Rook c6 is good. King g6, he takes on h6. Losing a lot of pawns. I might have to try and hold. Yeah, I think I have to do this. I don't think he's got any nasty other knight moves, so he takes. And now, forward or back? I don't know. Let's go forward. A bit short on time. And I'm praying that I'm going to exchange B and A pawns for what is technically drawn, but in blitz it might not be so easy. Even in classical chess, I lost it horribly against Polish GM Gregor Gajewski once in the European teams. I've looked at it since, but trying to remember how to do it is not so easy with little time, and I haven't looked at it very recently. At some point I switched to going behind. I can remember when to do that. I think I do it now. When he doesn't have the, he can't hide his king in front of the f pawn. And which way do I go? Yes, I want to stop him hiding behind in front of the f pawn. Because it shouldn't matter so much. If he's ever left with the rook's pawn, then it should be a draw, basically, wherever the other pieces are. Now I can take this pawn f5, can't I? This is why I think it's more scary for him to push the h pawn instead. Still have to be careful, of course, not to blunder anything here. Like now I can't. Okay. I couldn't exchange rook to rook g5, for instance. But I guess that's draw. His clock is still running again, but it must be a draw. King versus king. And that puts us, that was game 6, I believe. That should be game 7 now. And am I leading 3.5, 2.5? I've sort of lost track. Great to see. I won the first 2. Thanks. There's confirmation. It's there. yeah, I won the first two and then a whole lot of suffering to make a few draws. Let's just play some double fianchetto. I think the problem with my move order is e5. I used to play this way as black the whole time, and plays e5 now. And I knew that this line was scary, but at least people didn't play against me back in the not quite pre-computer era, but at least pre-cloud era. Everyone didn't have access to super strong engines. It's a scary enough position with the extra tempo, but as black, it's extremely risky. Now, can I go knight e3? I want my piece to move away from the king side. F2 is very vulnerable. I was more scared of him starting with queen b6 or knight g4. This way, I don't think I should be getting mated anymore. And now really the question is how I'm dealing with this e4 pawn. Maybe I should have attacked it immediately with queen c2. Yeah, because now rook e8 and I'll move the bishop to keep an eye on it. So I would prefer to play d3, but it loses a pawn. So am I going to have to play? I don't really want to play f3. So let's play queen c2, attacking pawn, but he'll move the bishop, I imagine. The fact his bishop's not defended is quite important, so there's no e3s. And I'm not playing this position in the most ambitious way, probably. So I can throw in knight d4 now to force the bishop back, but probably doesn't make much sense. If I start with d3, he exchanges and goes knight e5. He has some decent initiative. I'd have to play a bit of a sad move like knight c1. I'm not very happy with my position. Okay, let's switch. Go back to f3 again. There's some question of why I played rook d1 if I was playing f3. You can't always be consistent with your moves. He'll take on f3, I'll take. And in fact, I've given him the option of grabbing on e2 as well because of where my rooks are. And we'll get yet another situation where he's a pawn up. I've got a bishop there. He goes my bishop instead. And so material is level. I can pretend I'm taking down the f-file, but it's more likely my king is going to be a bit exposed. And for example, I can't play d3 will be the nice natural way of defending this pawn, but then I've got a huge problem on e3. So do I play this weirdly with the rook f4? My pieces aren't very happy about that move. They're all sort of standing on each other's toes. But what to do? This knight on b3 is not doing a lot. It'd be nice if I could get that involved. Well, you'd think when I'm on 3.5 that he probably needs to play this position for a win. I don't think I really have a choice. I don't want to play c5. It's just a weakness and it gives away the pawn on the d5 square. I really need my pawns to somehow get together. At some point I can hope that my center could be strong, but for that I need to exchange at least one of his knights. Good, he goes for it. And I'd love to play knight e4, but he can just take it for now. Let's double on f-file. So h4, knight e4, queen f7, king h7. Do I have any? Like a rook f5 there? Did that work last move? Okay, he's changing queens, but I'll not grab a pawn now. I was going to go knight e5 and win my c4 pawn. So I don't think I mind that. It's hard to defend that pawn. Do I want to provoke G6? Let's say no. So now I have a strange position. I've got an uncontested center. But his knight's very annoying. Let's just allow this exchange. At least the other knight can't get in so easily. Opportunity place. Yeah. Now I need my knights to do something. Knight a5, is that possible? Bishop b4, knight c4. He's got bishop d6 ideas too, but I think it works. Bishop d6, rook f3. So kick this rook away. I think I'd prefer to be black here, but I think his bishop is a bit more useful than my knight, and he's got some squares for pieces. What do I actually want from the position? Not to drop the material, probably. b5, okay. You're trying to take and take on e2. So I guess e4 and worry about my weak pawn on d3 later. Mañana. So continue pushing. My pawns get very disjointed if I get an outpost. Or do I just defend? e5, knight d7. Then I maybe go d4. They're probably just running to their death. But okay, so he wants a d5 square. He's going to play b5 next. Let's keep an eye on my d3 pawn. So he can't take yet because I regain the pawn and fork his rooks. So what, rook e6 or something looks sensible. Then I wanted to play rook c2, but knight e3 check. I start with the check. But I can go. Can I go forward? I don't trust going forward. Back looks safer. And d4 now. Oh, yeah. Let's just play d4. That knight is too tricky. I keep seeing forks everywhere. I think he can win a pawn with knight c4, but I can exchange and then take the 7th. Maybe. His c pawn is very strong. I'm staking everything on my e pawn, really. I was having c3, check, and e7, c2. I could, I can come back, I can check. Okay. I guess I continue. He's stopping, so I defend the pawn. I'm threatening rook takes g7 check. Maybe it's only a check. At least then I've got a desperado rook. So does he take the perpetual now? Me going forward is risky. What's happening? King f4 check, king g5. Might get mated. Have we, I'm guessing that has been a draw, so I can't make another move. So we're 4-3. Lots of draws there. I've not won a game since the second round, but just about staying ahead. Feels like I'm suffering with both colors. But I just need to suffer one more draw, and I'll be there. Into game number 8. Another black. Color. I've not yet got a move by him. I'm not really, that game, I think I probably castled prematurely. If I played Queen C2, attacking up on E4 first, we wouldn't have had time to defend it. And then I think I was doing very well. Okay. And we're off again. Now I've been groveling a bit with this line. Do I keep with it? Or do I see what he's prepared in my... Okay, let's see what he's prepared against my classical. Old pet line. So how should I do this? There is some logic to each of these moves. H3 now, I think I'm supposed to take. And so actually we've ended up with a very similar structure. The point of waiting until we played H3 is that now he'll normally want to play, should we go for the extension knights? F3 to cement 1 E4, but F3 and H3 really don't go well together. The speed at which he's moving suggests that this was all prepared. So you're going to go, let's just defend my pawn. Bishop E3 was trying to attack both at the same time. So yeah, maybe he's got some concrete way of playing this where he doesn't actually have to play with F3 at all. Okay, I'll exchange. So he can take on D6, but I'll exchange queens and take on C4. And maybe he's a little bit better there. Now I'd like to go with A D8, but is that going to just blend with pawn A7? B5, bishop B6, rook, attack the bishop, comes back. I'm not sure. Okay, let's just not get involved in that. He's, of course, won the opening battle again. I'm passive, but I only have one weakness, this one on D6. I think I want to play bishop B5 next when, oh, maybe he can take on H6. I was going to say he can't take on H6 because I'll take on C3 and take the bishop, but then Queen H8 check. Looks extremely scary, so I'm not going to allow that. I saw this move was legal again, but I didn't. Okay, Queen H4 is a more active square on principle. So if I take, he wants to obviously take both the e-pawn with my bishop, and he'll get the exchange. Knight this bishop and open the board. Okay, well, a draw is enough for me here. I'm hardly going to strike fear in the heart of whoever I play next with such cowardly play. But... Okay, so can I go to H4 now? I don't think anything is hanging. So bishop E5 is going to be my next move. When I get rid of... I don't want this queen's off the board. Probably. I'm also trying to take on C3 and win a piece. So he defends that threat, but now we'll play the positional. I don't think I've ever got any mates, but if he has to take on E5 here, then the structure, we're back to that structure with C6 versus C4. So structure is better for black. So I have the D4 square. So that's why he's defending this way. I would like him to have to take normally. I'm wondering, can I go knight G7? An odd looking move. Knight F6 would be more normal, but I was very scared. I was getting my queen trapped. So he doubles. I'm not sure if he's really threatening to exchange everything and take my pawn, but if I move, let's just move the pawn. Double-edged move. On one hand, I'm threatening B5 now. I'm getting some counterplay. But on the other, I've conceded a square on B6. Not clear who that favors. Probably now is the time for him to exchange and then play queen b6. Okay, always found a tactic. So if I take, my rook is undefended, but you can take my bishop. So my choice is to allow the exchange of h6 to h3. Do I mind that? Or to take on f4? Queen, take. He's going to get to the h file first. Okay, let's just take on f4. Back to suffering a bit. I shouldn't have allowed this tactic. So actually he's going knight takes, and then I'll just drop back. Defend my weak pawn. Oh, he's gone queen takes. Oh, maybe that's strong. So if I exchange, I can't defend. Well, I can defend it with knight e8, but e5 is going anyway. I drop. Okay, let's drop back then. But I'm not sure if you can take anyway. Because if I take one h3, it's my bishop is in danger of being trapped with some g4. So rook d6, take on h3. Probably it's okay. Now I think it's probably time to. I can't just suffer for the entire game. So what's happening? CB, AB. I mean, the problem is, well, with defending passively, is harder generally than having the initiative. And so you use up more time. So even though objectively knight e8 might be holding. So I was worried about my clock as well. Here at least, I get some easier moves to play. So I guess I defend that one. So I'm attacking a2. I'll take c5 next. Probably here I can exchange knights. Got to get my pieces out of hibernation. He takes on d6. I take on a2, b3 is hanging. He can start with h5. Maybe he should. Gives me a question of what I'm defending. Okay, let's not allow h5 next move. I don't know if I might just going to go rook d7 next move and maybe rook a6. Okay, he's taken. So let's play my first aggressive move of the game. Attack f2. And okay, let's try and get past more. Okay, I'm a bit worried about queen f6. So I was more worried about him moving the rook with queen e5 as a threat as well. I'm not sure now how he's defending his rook and the f2 pawn. Bishop f3, but I can increase the pressure. The rook g3 is forced. But now I can just take this rook, right? Or exchange bishops first. Let me resign. Whew. So I've got there. I'm afraid it wasn't exactly the attacking chess that I like to play. It's more the struggle. He was always winning the opening battles. Although at the start, my e takes d4 contingent. I think even this one was probably okay. I made some mistake allowing, what was his cheapo? Something with my loose rook that's showing a6.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's
tough match.
Yes, and that last game was very interesting. This counter attack with the queen, I love it.
Yeah, I was a bit lucky how quickly my counterplay came with queen a7 and
queen a7 and queen f6.
But all King's Indian positions, suddenly black gets played, even when you're you don't deserve it. It appears from nowhere.
Still, you love the King's Indian.
Yeah.
I like it.
Have to play my King's Indian. Have to defend its honor.
Nice. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, and I guess I'll be back tomorrow.
Yes. Thanks, and
I can put my feet up now.
I'm sorry about the technical problems of the first
No problem.
Now it's fixed. And okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Hey.
See you soon.